project.
Okay, so here is our new courses presentation for the school year of 2020, 2021. And I'll first have Mr. Mundo start with a couple new classes.
So the first two classes are classes we've talked about before when we did the AIM presentation for the 8th graders to 9th graders. We talked about students being behind and we wanted to be able to have courses to help them catch up. These are the courses that we had mentioned. So we have our pre-algebra, which students who don't fulfill the skills in 8th grade or in the summer would have to take before they could take Algebra 1. And the other was Foundations of English, which would work the same way before you could take an English 9. So these are classes you guys have heard before. We wanted to include them because they are part of the docket of new courses that we'll be moving forward with. Yes?
Just have a question. It says grades 9 and 12. How can they take the algebra C or take algebra geometry?
They don't. I think that's just a safety scan. Like you get a transfer kid in who's never taken anything before. We could still put them in that course. So our predominant thing would only be brand new 9th graders in there, except for an odd case of a transfer who is very far behind and not ready to take the algebra.
Is this going to be saying 9 to 12 or is it going to say 9 to
Well, it's not a class kids can pick, so it won't be available to them like in the selection screen. In our county paperwork, it'll probably say 9 to 12 to make sure the county knows where our position is and who's allowed to be in that, but for the students, it would be a 9th grade.
So this is based on teacher recommendation?
It's based on if they have fulfilled the skills of that grade. So some of it will be, did they pass the course?
Okay.
And then if they're in the summer program, did they meet all the benchmarks to show they have the skills to be ready for that course? So the teacher grade that they assign, and then also, have they fulfilled some of that? Because we do have that other avenue, so they may be able to avoid these classes if they do the summer program well.
Okay. So test scores are also going to play here, whatever their 8th grade test scores are.
Well, that'll go into helping us figure out what skills they need and where and if they have mastery. Because if they don't have mastery, I can't hear. I'm sorry.
Good test scores put them into this class.
Not without the course grade being below the level.
It's pretty teacher recommendation.
Teacher grade, yes. The other things are a factor though in figuring out how to teach those classes.
What is the approximate class size?
Well, when we went with the middle school, we were at about 20 was the number we were looking at, but hopefully very small because we don't want any kids to need the class. But when we met with the 8th grade earlier, it was in the 20 range of students who are in danger of needing that class. And I know Ms. Tifo is heading over to Lakehurst within the next week or so, and there's a few kids there. Their class size is about 35, so it's not as big a pool to choose from. So it could be a few more
So this would be
from
a
Lakehurst.
one period a day fall semester?
Yes, so you would have it in the fall, and if you successfully completed it, you could do your English and math in the spring, so you're all caught up.
But you'll get the 5 credits, but it won't go towards the math requirement.
And
Not the
parents,
graduation requirement.
No.
parents have already been notified of this sort of new initiative. And as Ms. Ramondo said, I've been working very closely with our municipal admin and some of their guidance team. And I have already met with their students and talked about this program. And we've already identified students based on their academic progress so far that you are in danger of failing. So it's kind of, and then a plan is implemented, how do we move forward? And so I spoke with the entire 8th grade and then individually with students with Mr. Ninavaji's staff and Ms. Driver's staff. And then I've also done that with Lakehurst, but I'll be going periodically throughout the year. So it's not just going to be a one and done. It's kind of working with the kids and trying to make sure there's a plan in place to help them be successful.
Can we meet this with our current staff, and are there any additional costs that we have to look at as far as materials or other things that might be necessary?
Yeah, so for the summer, we currently run a summer program, but we are revamping that. And so we already account for those teachers being in that program. Plus, I put it in for the budget to add some supplies for the AIM program, so that's part of the budget for next year.
Now, what do you do with the students if they don't pass it? Do they have to repeat it in the spring? Or
Yes, I mean, we're hoping that's not the case, but yes, they would have to be proficient to move on. Yes, they would have to be proficient to move on.
Will it just be one teacher, or will classified students be eligible too?
Classified students will be eligible for the AIM program, yes. will have a special ed teacher for the program during summer. Yes.
Okay, and especially math or just special ed?
No, we will have a special ed teacher.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
math.
certified in math. Yes, it's part of the program. Yes. Okay, we have our art technology. Currently, we are running Intro to Multimedia and Computer Graphics Applications. That is the first level course. Next year in the fall, we'll be running the second level courses, which is Games, Apps, and Architecture and Computer Animation. These are the third level courses. Right now, all the course sections are full. We have about 24 students in each of the classes, so it's doing very, very well. And so we're going to present these two courses. So the second level will be students who are taking computer animation, and then they'll go to computer animation 2. And for the advanced games and apps, that's for the students who've had level 2 game, apps, and architecture. So they'll learn how to game design, and then the third level, they'll get a little bit more intense. And then currently we have 4 levels of French, and we have on the Spanish side, we have Spanish 3 honors and Spanish 4 honors. We did not have French 3 honors, and the program has increased in size, and so we're going to offer French 3 honors for the upcoming school year.
What?
Okay, the next is kind of a restructuring of the music department into a music academy. So I will let Mr. Reaver, Ms. Kalk speak a lot about the different tracks here.
Yes. Ms. Culp and I spent a lot of time thinking about building our music program at the high school and how we could best do that. We also took, in that process, we took a look at what other schools in the area and across the state are doing, along with PAA and some of the other local high schools. And we're looking at the chart that we have here. We have divided into kind of an instrumental track, a vocal track, and a general courses track. So many students, when they come in, they either take band or choir, and they might take that one or up to 4 years. And right now we just have like a band course and an advanced band course, and choir and advanced choir. But we felt that dividing the courses up into different levels, 1 through 4, allows us to set higher standards for students as they progress through of taking the course. So really right now we teach these students, many of them we have for 4 years, and we do differentiate in the classroom for those students who are taking the class for multiple years. But this allows us to put that all down on paper and make that really clear, those expectations really clear. So that goes for the instrumental track and the vocal track. And then the general courses, for those students who might not be interested in taking band or choir, or if they're interested in taking those courses and something else, we have this, which some of this we've had. The adaptive music class we added last year, the music theater workshop class we added last year, and then the guitar we're adding to the piano lab together, and the history of popular music. That's a kind of a renaming of a course that we already have.
So the guitar and piano lab would become one course?
Yes. Yeah. And so, and I think some of the thought behind that was teaching, 84-minute blocks.
Right.
And so to begin an instrument and study like playing guitar for 84 minutes is crazy on your fingers. You just can't. You can't do it. So dividing it up, and I think it would also help with skill development too. So, yeah.
So basically, the guitar and piano lab are basically an expansion of our current piano lab class. That's sort of where we're going.
What we're trying to do is we already differentiate between like parts, like my very advanced players will get harder parts than say a freshman, because with band and also sometimes choir, it runs so that my advanced band students and my concert band students are all in the same room because of the numbers. So this would just give them more clear-cut expectations, and adding that honors level also makes, you know, we add a little bit of rigor and give the honors students in band 3 and band 4 and treble choir 3 honors and 4 honors, we give them a little bit of a higher standard that they need to hit, while also getting that weighted GPA that they want, like some of the higher achieving students, and that would make our class attractive to them. We'll get more kids involved, I think, in the program.
Okay, I see you're calling it academy, which I'm all in favor of. Are these students going to be in cohorts where they go through this, they're all in the same English class, they're all in the same math class, they're all in the same gym class, going through their schedule day? Like the curriculum is laid out for them. If you want to go into instrumental track, you have to take this, this, and this, but you can't take electives over there, but you can get this instead, that kind of.
Not yet. Right now, we're just focusing on this first part of trying to
So
get
it's not
this.
really an academy, then it's just course officers.
Correct, it's just course officer.
So
But
because you label it as an academy,
Right,
you
it's-
have to do that.
right, it's an academy because they're going to be going through a progression now, and it's kind of tracked in that way. So you have the vocal track, you have the instrumental track, so that's why we break it apart as an academy. We didn't have these particular tracks before, and so we think it'll be beneficial for them.
And did you say you would recognize them if they go through, and they would have some kind of a recognition if they go
Yes.
through all of the quote-unquote academy?
Yes.
Didn't we talk
Yes,
about that?
it'll be some kind of endorsement.
Okay, and say that you satisfy the requirements, I guess, of the music.
Right, if you
program academy.
completed so many credits,
Yeah.
then you would get some kind of certificate or endorsement at the end.
Towards your graduation.
Yes.
I have a couple things, and being a retired music teacher, love this. What are the opportunities as far as in the honors curriculum of having them audition, say, for all shore?
That's
Things like that.
That's one of the requirements that I have implemented in the course descriptions. They have to play like their major and minor scales in the all-state band audition rhythm.
Right.
So the solo offerings, like the solo repertoire offerings that I offer them, will be the all-shore solo of that year.
Okay.
So that they are already working on it, so that they can go and take an audition outside of school, such as all-shore, all-state, region band.
And one thing, I know Ms. Culp will go into more detail about the band and the band honors. One thing though is for the student to be accepted into the honors for band 3 or 4, and same for the choral department for the treble or bass choir, students will have to audition and fulfill requirements. It's not just going to be you've completed the second year, okay, you're in the honors, because there, as you saw from the chart, there are 2 streams for the general, if you would, and then the honors track. But again, it's all by an audition. It would be a blind audition, so you know the kids would have to basically be behind a wall, for lack of a better way to explain it to you, and then they would have certain requirements that all students would have to meet in order to be part of the honors program. And then the other option is, let's say they don't make it for the 3rd year, but they continue working, continue refining their craft, they could re-audition to enter for the honors 4 if they were up to that proficiency level.
I know we've had some staff changes, especially on the instrumental side, in recent years in both the elementary and middle school. Do we see an increase in possible enrollment on the instrumental side for next year with band?
For next year, I know she has an 8th grade group that will be coming up, probably like 10, I think. And then her 7th grade group is actually really large. I know that. She has quite a few students in the 7th grade. And I know that Miss Drew, the band, is quite large down there as well. So
How about on the choral side?
The choral side? Last year, when I came in, we had 20 students. This year we have 45 right now. And I do expect that we'll have more next year.
Awesome.
Can you target more male voices in there, please?
Yes, we're aiming for that. Yeah.
We'll keep up that enthusiasm, because
Yeah.
that's what's going to keep the kids going and help us here.
I have to take my hat off. The 2 of you have done a fabulous job up there at the high school, and I'm so impressed with what's going on. So keep up the great work.
One of the nice things that they're doing is they are going to the middle school, and they're going to the elementary, because they know it's a program from all the way.
Yeah, it's really nice
They do a good job.
Working with them, it